How on earth do I cook when I live in a tiny little Citroen C1? That is the question. You can't possibly make food in this, can you? I have been using two gas stoves. One is the old Jetboils, and the second one is just a kind of a camping gas style flatter stove for which I do my cooking. So I usually use the Jetboil for boiling water for the coffee first thing in the morning, and I use the flatter camping gas style stove for cooking kind of curry in the evening, that kind of thing. Now, I'm not really keen on either, it has to be said. I'm not that keen on the Jetboil just because the gas cylinders I use are quite big, quite tall, and the Jetboil itself is quite tall on top of that. So you end up with a kind of a foot tall contraption, which is not ideal for boiling kind of water or oat milk or warming up a soup in a vehicle. So that's not ideal. But I also use the kind of the flatter camping gas style stove. I'm not massively keen on that just because of the tiny little cylinders, which only last me, gas cylinders, which only last me about a week. There's no way of connecting a bigger, as far as I know, of connecting a bigger kind of propane gas cylinder to the kind of the flatter camping gas style stoves. So the cylinders don't last very long at all. They're metal. They end up going in landfill, I assume. I don't think they're recyclable, so I don't like that either, and they're not cheap. So I've been looking for an alternative way, not necessarily of cooking, but of warming up food, so warming up soup and making stews, that kind of stuff. And I've come up with this little experiment. It's only about £15. So this is what I'm going to try. It's an electric lunchbox, they call it, which is basically, let's see if I can get the box open. I'm afraid I don't really do glamorous unboxing on this channel. Okay, guys, it's a really good size. I just got this thing off Amazon. I looked at a few reviews which seem to be pretty good, and this is essentially has a hot plate in the bottom with a metal dish on top of that. Let's get a bit closer. Let's stop it tracking my face and point this thing downwards. Hold on, bear with me for a second. That's better. So yeah, as you can see, it's nice. It is a lunchbox. Has a lunchbox look to it. Got these little levery thingies that keep it closed. Nice lid there. Got a plastic compartment thingy, bit of Tupperware, whatever that is. Got some leads, some paperwork. Yeah, so basically it's this metal dish which you can remove to clean. I think. Is that how it works? Maybe you can't, or maybe it's taped down. Yeah, maybe you can't remove it to clean it, that's fair enough. Oh, look at the instructions, but underneath this area there's a hot plate, and you basically plug it in. You've got little pluggy things there, and you have two options. You can either plug it into a wall socket, or, and this is the thing that really attracted me to this possible solution, you've got this thing, the old lighter socket and lead. So I can plug it into one of these little pluggy thingies there, like so, and then plug this into the lighter socket, and when the engine's running, basically I can warm food up. Now, as far as I can tell, it's not really designed for cooking, so I'm not going to be able to cook a steak in here, but I'll certainly be able to warm soup, warm up pasties, that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is give it a little test run. I think you can probably warm up microwavable kind of ready meals as well, things like lasagnas, that kind of thing. Probably take quite long. So what I'm thinking though is that this won't be the only main cooking solution for me. Let's see if I can point up here again. Yeah, So it won't be the main cooking solution. I'll still have to use gas some of the time. But I do a lot of road trips, so I do a lot of kind of leave the island at 8 p.m. Isle of Wight at 8 p.m. Get a ferry over, and then have an hour and a half drive if I go to Dorchester. A couple of hours if I go on to Exeter. 2.5, 3 hours if I go down to Falmouth. And I can just have this thing running in the background. I can plug it into the lighter socket, have some food in there, say a stew that I've made, or soup with loads of additional veggies put in there, and just have it warming up that food. And then when I get to my destination, it'll be ready to go, it'll be ready to eat. And obviously I can stop in a lay-by and stir it all up halfway through. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting experiment to see if this thing actually lives up to its potential, and whether I'll be able to significantly reduce the amount of gas cooking I have to do in my little car, because it's such a tiny car and it really isn't safe to constantly cook stuff on gas stoves in a tiny little space. If it's raining and I don't want to have the windows open, ventilation is really difficult. So we shall see, and what this may also cause me to do, because I can't really cook, well, I don't know, I'll experiment, but I'm not sure that I can cook raw meat in this. Maybe you can, maybe it'll take a long time, but I'll experiment with that. But what I can do is cook a lot of vegetarian and vegan type food. So I like Quorn, not everyone's cup of tea, little micro proteins, little blocks of fungi basically. Not tofu, I'm not a fan of tofu, but Quorn I really like, and I can make kind of bologneses if I get ready cooked. Pasta, I can presumably, well, maybe I can use a stove to cook the pasta and then put it all in here with sauce and the Quorn and make a spaghetti bolognese in here, and then add some cheese. So stay tuned to find out how well this thing actually works. And I do love the size. So it's only tiny. So right up against me now. So you can just about judge how big it is. It's only about the length of my hand, a little bit longer, an inch longer than my hand basically. So really good size, really good form factor. And I'm quite optimistic that this might form a really good cooking solution going forward.